Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today we're going to be checking some of our cell builders, which I'm a little nervous for, but it should be good. This was the first graft of the year. I'm going to kind of do, it might be a little bit of a longer video, I don't know yet, but just kind of like a walkthrough of what this time of the year looks like and what grafting is going to look like for us. I think hopefully this year is going to be a little bit more busy with grafting, which I'm excited about. I think we'll probably be grafting about every week or so. If we don't graft, it's probably because we're like running out of bees at that point. But I've done a video on this before, which you can check out. I don't know what it's called, but it was probably something along the lines of like cell builders and grafting. And it basically is the Corey Stevens method, it's just what I like to say, on building your cell builders. So I did used to do it. I have a ton of videos out on how you can do it. But the one that we like the most is going through your hives this time of the year and finding a double deep that's just blowing up and about to swarm. Because when they're about to swarm, they're ready to make queens. So they want to make queens. So you can turn that into a cell builder and they're going to make some really nice cells. Now, when you're forcing a hive to make cells, it can be a little bit trickier, but it also works just as good. But really all we did was go through and basically pull out the queen and make a small, like really small split, which is what these are. They're kind of like just like mini mating nukes almost. They're really tiny, but we have two cell builders right now, this one and this one. So I just made two splits. There's another one over there. The queen's in here and they're just growing for a little while here. It might take her a bit, but that means that this is fully queenless. And then the same day that I made the cell builders, we went ahead and grafted a total of 60 cells for not each, but in total. So we're gonna go through, see what they look like. I feel like I remember this hive not doing as good with the cells. So we're gonna check that one first, I guess. So we're making sure to feed them. Got some syrup on here, and then I also have a pollen patty on here because we want to make sure they have plenty of food so that it can build up those queen cells. So we're also going to graft again today because what we're going to do is pull out these cells and brush all the bees off and put them into an incubator, which I'll show you that here in a second. That way we can graft again and we don't have to wait for them to completely like go through their full stage. They should be capped today. I'm going to check to see if they are. If they're not, then that's the end of the video and we're just going to have to wait till tomorrow because I want to make sure they're fully capped before we end up putting them into the cell builder. Oh yeah, incubator, thanks. So the frames that we get are actually like, you can just get them off of Amazon and they're just like the side pieces and then the bars we buy separately. I'm not going to smoke like crazy, but it is not the best day to be doing this and we're going to be shaking bees in here in a few, so I do have smoke on me just in case. Usually the first graft out of these cell builders do okay. The second ones always do the best because at that point those nurse bees are emerging and you have a ton of nurse bees in there, so they do the best that second round, and then I can usually get one more round out of them and they do just as good. So this was, keep in mind, it was the first graft of the season, so I didn't do amazing, which sucks because last year I got a 100% take on the first graft. I don't know how I did that one. All right, so these are capped, and one thing you'll notice is they're just full of royal jelly. You can't even see it because the whole cup is filled, so you can't see where it stops. But that whole cup right there is full of royal jelly, which is really good. So I missed, let's see. So I came back like a couple days later to see just what we got so we can get an idea of how many cells I ended up getting. I think I had missed like 3 or 4 on here. Looks like now, I think they're probably taking this one down. So I think I missed about like 4 or maybe 6. Dang. 7. Oh, it's all right. Well, anyways, so all we're gonna do here is brush these bees off. They absolutely love it. The cells are pretty strong at this point. It shouldn't damage them at all. And then we're gonna take this over to, currently did I just do that? No, I don't think I did. It looks like they might be tearing down some of these. I'm not sure why. We'll see what ends up happening here, if they end up dying or whatnot, but we're gonna take these to an enclosed trailer for now, because that's where we have our incubator, if I can get these bees off. All right, I'm just gonna keep brushing these off until I get most of them off of them, and then we'll go over to the enclosed trailer and show you what that looks like and what we're using to secure the cells. All right, I decided we're gonna go ahead and actually check this one here. This bucket's actually still pretty full, but they're feeding on it. So I'll check to make sure those holes in that bucket are still good. These hives are kind of messed up right now. She's just holding the stuff right now, so if the camera is a little crazy, that's why. But these hives are a little messed up because they were originally double nukes, and then we put them into their own box, so all the entrances are going different ways. So this could be fun. I could piss them off, but all right, I'm interested to see how these ones do, because when I checked them a while ago, they seem to have looked a little bit better. And I don't think it is too early, but it's possible that it could end up being too early for grafting, and they just don't do amazing this time of the year. I don't know yet, but this means splitting will happen hopefully this weekend. It's a Wednesday, which is always a fun time. All right, so this one, let's see what we got here. There's one missed. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. I'm not a very good grafter, I guess. That's really not bad. I just know that I could have done better. I also used the master grafter for the first time on this mini, so I guess we'll just blame it on that for now. So these are just going to go into the incubator, and then they'll finish developing and everything, and they'll be good to go. It just makes it so we can graft faster instead of having to wait for them to be completely ready. I'll show you what we got for our incubator too. A lot of people are using it, and so far it's worked well. I think we've had it for a couple years now. You can tell they absolutely love the brush. Try not to be too hard, just because I don't want to damage any of the cells. So these ones are pretty full of royal jelly, but not like crazy. Some of them are though, so they don't look bad. They're a little wonky, but I think it'll be okay. So these cells will go, or queens will go to our splits this weekend. All right, I'm gonna call that good. We're just gonna keep the veil on and hope that they don't get too crazy. And I'm not gonna put a frame in between this yet, because I'm about to go through the whole thing, and then we're gonna graft, so I'm just gonna leave it open. They'll start to cover it up, but they won't build anything that quickly, because I'll be back here in like 10 or 15 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna walk over to the enclosed trailer and show you what that looks like. Okay, so we're over here at the enclosed trailer. So this is where I do all my grafting also. One, because it gets crazy hot in here, so that works well for the larva. And then also, you can get it really dark in here, so it makes it a little bit easier to graft. It's being used as a little bit of storage too for, I don't know if this was expo stuff or not, but anyway, let's show you what we have going on here. I believe you can just get these off of Amazon. I think it's just like the ones they use for like eggs and chickens or whatever. So it works really well though, and it's done a really good job so far. And then I've just got these. I believe these are the JZBZ. Are they? Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, one of the things you'll want to know about these, if you're using this part like of it and you want to do like a lot of queens and you're going to put them in these cell protectors, you want to get the ones that have the 4 prongs on them, not the 2, because the 2s don't fit very well in here and they fall out like really easy. So the whole purpose of this is to be able to carry around a lot of cells at once. So when this isn't working and they just fall out, it's pretty annoying. But the ones with the 4 prongs, they stay in there a little bit better. So I would recommend using those. All this is basically taking the cell, and people always ask me how I pull it off so easily, and I really just take my index finger and pull up on the cup, and it pulls off really easy. And then there's a little like notch right here that I grab, and then the cell just slides right in there. Sometimes they're a little bit big, or sometimes they have some webbing and you gotta kind of cut around it. But if it's not fully in there, it still works perfectly fine. And then you just place it into that hole right there. Now with these, you kind of have to shove it in there because the 2 prongs just don't fit very good. So we just have a few bags of these, and I'm just gonna go through and put all of these cells on there. And then we'll put them in this incubator, and then we're going to go over back to the cell builder and show you what we do now that we've pulled the cells out. But you got to make sure they're all going like the same way, going that same way, that way they can fit back on there. And then you got to kind of switch it around. So the 2 prongs are a little bit harder, but literally just they fit right in there, and sometimes you got to squeeze them in there. But this is just protecting the cell from anything. And a lot of people lately have been liking buying cells. It's newer, so this makes it easier also to transport them. And this is also what Corey Stevens does. And he kind of knows what he's talking about, so we just go with it and do what he says, pretty much. And he's the one who uses the 4 prongs too and says to use those. I'm surprised I haven't spilled all of these yet. I probably will here in a second. So this will take me a second, so we're going to go ahead and do all of these, and then we'll head back over to the cell builder. Okay, so now that those are in the incubator, it basically means that there's nothing in here besides bees and probably some drones. There's no queen, no cells that I want. The only thing in here now is going to be some cells that they made. Now, when you're making your own cell builder and you're just like making it from scratch, basically, you can do it to where you don't put any eggs or any type of larva in there that they can make a queen cell out of, so you don't have to do this step. But to me, in the long run, you're saving a lot of time actually, so I don't mind doing this. So they're going to make emergency cells because they can make those really, really fast. So I have to go through all of these frames and check them to see if they made any. So I'm going to show you how we do that. You can just like go through and just like look at them. I'm going to pull them all off. I'm going to pull both boxes. Now if the video all of a sudden stops and I come back wearing a jacket, you'll know that's because we're working bees at 5 o'clock in the evening, which is not smart. On a very cloudy day, it'll be all right. So we're basically just gonna shake them. I'll show you what that looks like here. Ooh, look at that. I don't know, there's something about the jacket. I just won't put it on until it's necessary. I don't know what this is doing here. It looks like it was almost just thrown on there and then the boxes were put together. Okay, so then I'm also going to take this box off. So I'm taking both of them off. I've done it both ways, and I think this way is, oh, we got a huge spider right there. That's the worst when you grab it. And the black widows here are so bad. So yeah, I've done both ways, and I think this way is a little bit faster. Unless the boxes are crazy heavy and then you can't even lift it. So then I take an empty box. This is good for if you're wanting to also replace one of the boxes, because this is going to be their new box technically. So I just put this down. and it gives me a lot more space to shake. So now I'm gonna shake every single frame into this box. Now, I didn't use a whole lot of smoke a couple minutes ago, but I'm gonna use a ton of smoke now because there's just nothing out there that they're gonna be happy about, and they're not gonna wanna see me right now. So usually these outside frames aren't gonna have anything on them because it's gonna be mostly food. But the worst thing to ever happen is you didn't check every single frame, and then you end up getting a queen that emerges before your cells, and then she goes through and tears down all of your cells. So this is empty, so I'm just gonna put this right back in. So I'm not worried about shaking that one. So I'm just moving it over just as it was like originally. So all the frames that were in the bottom box are gonna stay in the bottom box. It's just a different box basically. There's not like a crazy ton of bees, and I don't see like any eggs or anything. Like, I mean, I shouldn't see eggs. If you're seeing eggs right now, that's concerning because there shouldn't be a queen in there. Then I'm just not gonna shake it because I can see that frame clearly and it's mostly food. Sometimes also, they actually don't make any cells. This also is looking pretty much like food. The reason you have to do this also, like shake the frames, is because it's not just a normal swarm cell that's going to be on the bottom. They're going to be all over the frame. Okay, so then here's the fun part. I've tried to get a little bit better at it, but shaking the bees is still hard to me. So you just kind of give them a little bit of a shake, and then it clears all the bees off so you have a clear view of the frame. So I don't see any cells on here, so then I can just put it right back in, and clearly they just love it. My camera person is looking a little scared, even though she's not the one shaking them. All right, I'm gonna do a couple more here. You know what? We're just gonna go for it and put the jacket on. All right, we've switched now. So I'm gonna do these. Whoops. So it goes pretty fast, but it's just one extra thing you have to do when you do it this way with the cell builder. Some people can shake these and they'll get seriously every single bee off. I just can't get that many. I was kind of hoping to actually find a cell so you could see, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make any. But the thing is, you only have to do this once, because if you wait, I think it's been like 5 days since we grafted, 5 or 6 days. So they've had plenty of time to make cells, and they won't be able to make any more after this because they don't have any other resources for it. So you only have to do it once. So far I don't see anything. Now, if they do start to get light and you don't really see any brood, or you need more nurse bees, you can drop a frame or two of brood in there on maybe your third round, just so you know that there's plenty of bees in there. But so far, both of these cell builders are looking pretty strong that I'm not going to do that. All right, I'm just going to shake this last one if I could get it out. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some in that top box though. Alright, I'm not seeing anything, so you'll see it pretty clearly though, because they'll be also capped at this point, so they'll be nice and big. But I'm going to go through, shake the rest of these, and then shake the top box also, and then we're going to do the same thing on that cell builder. Okay, so I went through, shook all the frames, every single frame. I ended up finding a few in this one. I think I found like 2, and then I found a couple in this one. They tend to only be in the top box, but I still shake all the frames just to make sure. And now what I'm going to do is graft. So I'm going to go through This hive here, it's got a star on it, and I've gone through it a couple times now, and it looks really good. So I'm gonna pick a frame to graft from, and then I'll go graft here in a second. Probably gonna do another 60 just so we have plenty. So we'll put that in both again. And then I'll probably do one more round before these two hives are ready to be just done and go back to a normal hive. At that point, I'll just put a normal cell right back into it. Or you can split them all down to, like, you can probably get a few splits off of them and then put cells in all of those, so then you doubled. But it's just whatever you prefer. So we're gonna do that now. I think I'll do a separate video on grafting just so we can save some time today and battery on the camera. So anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. And thanks for watching today's video. Follow along more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.